Hi everybody, welcome to Queer Peer Reviews. Here on this channel, we review queer media, good, bad, and ugly. I'm your host, Bruce, and with me here is my co-host, once again, Justin.
Here at Queer Peer Reviews, we review your favorites and not so favorites of films, games, and other stories in queer media.
And speaking on media, today we're reviewing a Max original, Fionna and Cake, which is essentially a sequel spin-off of Adventure Time.
Yep. We couldn't have come at a better time.
Oh, I forgot my other prop. Be right back. Cat prop right here. There's your content of cats for the algorithm. No! Okay, so our second prop ran off. So let's just continue on with Fionna and Cake. Fionna and Cake. Now, one of the biggest surprises that I enjoyed is that it knows that its audience watched Adventure Time as kids. So now they're all grown up.
Yeah.
And so now this has taken more, the rating has gone up now. And it's a lot more for a mature audience.
Yeah.
Because now there's actual cursing and there's blood involved.
Yep. And there's existential dread from a capitalist system that doesn't work.
So yeah, it took it a little mature. It's a more, like, way more serious tone in a way. Not that serious, but like, you know, serious.
They also do the baby thing. You know how like most of your favorite shows like Looney Tunes and whatever had like they have like the edgy verse, and then they have the baby verse, and then they have like a bunch of other like different versions of whatever. They do that here, and it's pretty well done actually. It doesn't seem ham-fisted. It feels fairly natural.
And I do like in there because like it starts off with like Simon. He still has like mad PTSD.
He kind of relapses, and you see him in other episodes where he's like dressed up as the Ice King and stuff.
Yeah, that's how he said that's how he copes.
Yeah, so it showcases, you know, a lot of things, and also his home. He's like turned his whole life and history into spectacle, and it's really interesting to see that.
Oh, and because of like what he keeps trying to do to keep contacting Betty, who now became like,
yeah.
Spoilers if you haven't watched all of Adventure Time, and if you have, I mean, what are you doing? You know. Betty became Golb. She basically merged with Golb and became like now she's a sentient embodiment of chaos. And Simon's now trying to like contact her through all this, and then this is what leads to Fionna and Cake. Although I'm a little ahead of myself because it does start off with Fionna and Cake living in an actual like normal human world, which is another aspect which is interesting because now, because you know, you remember watching like, you ever seen those Adventure Time fan arts of like, oh, what would all the creatures look like humanized?
Yep.
And that's what we get.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. That's like a shift in tone. Like, you know, you get more relatableness with Fionna in a way, like how she like struggles with everything. And
yeah, I feel like the opening for the first episode really like showcases that, like really talks to this lived experience of a lot of. I don't want to say millennials, but I guess that's maybe the target demographic. So it's like millennials and Gen Z who are growing up in a world where they feel like they were kind of robbed of some experience. Like they're dreaming of this life that they have where they can do all this different stuff, whether it be travel or in Fionna's case, like fight monsters and have magical powers. She's aware that was her, not destiny, but that was what she was always meant to do. And she feels trapped in this, like, because she lives in like a city. Like she seems like she lives in a city, and she's like, it's like congested, and she's like working all these dead end jobs. And you see that in the original like first opening. She's like doing all these different things, trying to find her place. And she was like dating the guy, the flame, not the flame.
Flame DJ, yeah, they had like a little montage there, but
and then they break up, and like she's like lost, like she's done all these different things, but she still feels like adrift, and like her life isn't the way it's supposed to be. And I feel like a lot of people, me included, I would even argue, like feel that.
One of the reasons also is like we're also reviewing this is on QPR because in Fionna's world we have Gary Prince, who is the male version of Princess Bubblegum. Yep. But in this world, obviously, he's more humanized now. He works at a candy store, or like a pastry store. Yeah, he works at a pastry store. And then we have Marshall Lee. You know, Marshall a male counterpart, and he's just like this laid back, like go with the flow guitarist. Like he just stays at anyone's places. And we have like this we have like a plot B with them going forward. And I thought it was like an interesting build-up because you know, like from other episodes, Princess Bubblegum and Marceline are already like a couple.
Yep.
So you already know, like, oh, these guys are gonna get together.
Exactly.
And it does become adorable. It does build up in a good way. You have a little montage. And there was that one episode where it was that puppy was side by side with the alternate world, right, where the vampires took over.
Yeah, it was crazy because there was a scene where Marceline is like getting ready or something. She's getting like her like vampire whatever like team and stuff, and he's like, "You could just kill her. You could just kill her."
But she doesn't want to.
Yeah, and she snaps this dude's neck just because she's like, "Yeah, how dare you even suggest that I kill this?"
And she tried to invite her too to become like.
Yeah.
So like one's fighting like trying to kill each other, and the other one's trying to have like an emotional. They get in like an emotional bond.
Yeah. It also talks a lot in that episode about Simon's connection to Marceline and how just one person can really affect somebody, like the whole trajectory of somebody's life. Because I get the sense from that episode that like Marceline, obviously, because in like all the flashbacks, Marceline's already like a vampire.
Well, she's a demon first, and then she turns into a vampire later on.
And then she has you can say father figure, but it's more that you have like parental guidance. You have a lot of like emotional support and stuff.
And also what's right or what's wrong.
Exactly, morality. And those things are absent in this Marceline that we see in this show, because he literally, it's like the first scene or something, he's just dead. He got like bit and he died.
And that was the one thing I love. I love the what if universes. Yeah, I want to see like, what if Simon wasn't there for Marceline?
Exactly.
That happened, or like the other one where, what if the Lich succeeded, and that was another crazy one where everyone just died instantly. That was like the creepiest one.
Yeah, and they oh my goodness, yeah.
If you, this whole episode is a bunch of spoilers, but trust me, you have to have seen Adventure Time before you even watch this show. The message behind that show that I love about is just like accepting things as they are, or just like can't always go back to how. Then it works with Fionna and Cake, because Fionna and Cake throughout the whole show is trying to bring back their fantastical world because she wanted that.
Yeah.
But then she learns throughout these adventures, she's like, I don't know if I want the magical. And she has like a dream where she gets what her wish was, but it's like all wrong.
Yeah.
Things gone wrong, and she's worried like, if I bring this back, what's it gonna happen?
Exactly.
Everyone gonna remember what happened? Everybody gonna be the same as they were? And it becomes a whole morality issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions that you can bring up. It's like, who is Fionna to basically warp the lives of everyone she's ever known?
But yeah, and also take consideration for the others in there.
The people, and their wants and dreams and desires. Yeah.
Like Gary and Marshall, they were when they heard about the plan, they were worried themselves. Like, are we gonna even remember that we love each other? Or, and then another issue that Simon finally finds out, because he hadn't had this like full closure with Betty, and there was that scene like while Fiona's trying to figure out deal like do I want this world to change, and then she's realizing I don't want it to change. Simon is like put in this like trance by like Go Betty, and he goes on this whole like life lesson in this future in this other body. He fully understands that everything that happened was just solely because of what he wanted and not because of what Betty wanted.
Well, it's a weird thing, right? About autonomy and love and what people will do when they want something. So I feel like Betty really wanted to be with Simon, and like she wanted his, not just his attention, but she wanted his like praise and all of this stuff. And as a result of that, she was just willing to do whatever he wanted to do. So like he didn't like force her. He wasn't like abusing her, like telling her what to do. But like he would say, let's do this, and she would just immediately go along with it. And you see that in some of the flashbacks where they're like traveling together. She'll have an alternative solution to something, the same way in the game. The girl would have an alternative solution to whatever they were dealing with. And because of who Simon is, he would never really notice that that's what she was offering. She was offering another solution to a problem. He would always go, well, let's do it this way. And she would go, of course, I love you. Of course, let's just do it this way.
And one of the characters that he was with told him, it's like, well, maybe it's like, oh, this is the ending I didn't want in the game, right? It's like, oh, well, you know, you could have got a different ending if you chosen some of the other options instead of choosing the same option every time.
I think it's one of Jake's daughters, I think it is. I could be wrong.
It's the ancestor. It's
one of the descendants. One of the descendants.
The future goes crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They're basically telling Simon, like, you are not experienced enough to understand the nuances of relationships. And I thought that was incredible because, like, he's this grown man who's, like, had this one love his whole life, and he's just now realizing the like kind of
the relationship he had was more one-sided.
The weird sort of, well, they did love each other, but it was a weird sort of toxic thing that he had never even thought of.
You know what they say, love makes you do stupid shit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of that's like a recurring theme even in this like newest season, and it's reflected back onto Simon and how he is also trying to kind of contact Betty, save Betty, get his Betty back, and live in this past that no longer exists.
As a very deep, and I think this is like supposed to be like Tom Kenny's most emotional type of like moment, because it's like, you know, we always know him as like the voice actor that does like goofy voices and all, but this is like one of his most like serious roles he took.
Yeah,
like the most serious tone I ever heard him. Speaking of voice actors, we skipped over one. The main antagonist was the
Scarab. Yeah.
The Scarab.
Yeah.
And I found out that they're voice acted by trans voice actors.
Yeah. No, the Scarab is such an incredible character because of the way that they interact with effectively like the Celestials. They have these little like Tamagotchi crystal thing where they turn them in, like, these powerful crazy creatures into.
What's funny is that the people that he imprisoned is that when they're free, they start being like, hey, you just got me because I'm just doing like normal shit. I don't know. It made him seem like he was more of an asshole than anything.
Yeah, he was kind of like a
even though it was a
celestial cop or something.
Yeah, he was a celestial cop.
That's what it seemed like, and he would find somebody who's like breaking the rules of the universe, whatever, and then he would capture them, and I'm like, most of these people weren't really doing anything. Like one
was running a coffee shop.
Yeah, some of them was like it said like they all had different things, like they broke probation or they were a deserter. They deserted their post or whatever, and it's like
he was more of an asshole than the villain.
Yeah, he was just trying to keep order when people wanted to grow and change,
but such an aggressive way.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because at like the end, they're like kind of just like he almost takes responsibility for the Scarab's like state of mind and like the weird way he like. I don't want to say he's rude to people, but like the weird way he interacts with his coworkers, they call them or something.
Yeah.
He chooses that path of empathy and kindness, which is what, you know, Finn and Jake would want. You know? His favorite show.
I really love this show, and I want to talk more about it through the ratings. How about that? Let's go do that. All right. Let's do our ratings. We're going to start off with representation.
Schmauzow. And for representation, we give it
I give it a 9.
I give it a 9.9.
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, if you look at Fiona's world, I think it's also, like, representation-wise, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's very real.
I think no matter, like, all the different dimensions they go to, all the different parallel universes and stuff, there are queer characters, and none of them feel ham-fisted and, like, annoying or anything.
And voiced by queer characters.
Exactly.
Like,
so it's real, it's, like, tangible in the real world, and then also in the show. And it's comforting. Like, it's none of it's, like, weird and gross.
And I mentioned this, and I forgot to mention this, but... In Fiona's world, the Lemongarbs are voiced by, well, one of them is voiced by a drag queen, which is great. I mean, I forgot the last voice actor. I don't know who that one is. I guess it was just some other guy.
Yeah,
can't bring them up. It's all right. Oh well, sucks to suck.
Oh, look at the consequences of my actions.
Now your character's voiced by a drag queen, which is actually really good. And not too bad. And also the Scarab.
Yes.
Again.
And even the Scarab is like redeemed and like feels like a real person, like a real character, rather than some weird caricature of like bad guy, ooga booga.
And obviously the relationship between Marceline and Princess Bubblegum that we see like in the first episode. You know, they get matched tattoos, which is adorable. Yeah. And the main center is Gary and Marshall.
Yep. Next up, Queer Comfort.
And for Queer Comfort, I give it a 9.5.
I also give it a 9.
I mean, it's a fun show to watch, honestly.
Just the first episode, just like the first like song that they sing, like I'm not really feeling like myself today. Like that, I genuinely feel speaks to not only like a marginal group of the millennial experience, but like all of Gen Z. And maybe even a tiptoe into Gen Alpha. So it's like, I genuinely think that this is like It's just like an experience that we're all having collectively.
And because like you've grown up with the show's also matured.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, you're not like watching like a kid's show.
Exactly.
You're actually watching a show that's on your type of level. That's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah,
Yep.
this is more real.
That being said, it's still not it's still absurd. Like there's this beautiful combination of mature themes and like adult stuff, but it's still absurd. It still addresses the idea that things are crazy and silly, even in real life. Even when magic may be absent, there's still absurdity and strange things to be found and worthwhile adventures to go on and love to find. There's still so much in life that's worth fighting for, even if you're not fighting against a magical ice wizard or whatever. There's always so much in the world to appreciate and enjoy, and I love that about this show. And I find that incredibly comforting for no matter who you are. There's always something out there for you.
Mm-hmm. And next up is writing.
So, for writing, we're gonna give it
I give it a 10.
8.
You give it an 8?
Yeah.
10? Have you heard The Lich?
Listen, the Lich is incredible.
Yo,
Lich
okay.
carries some of to the series.
So, I told you before, The Lich appears. His writing is like written with fire.
Yeah, they were just like burning. Like, the script, The tonal shifts in the show are impeccable. Like, you can go from
It's not jarring at all.
candy violence to like
The baby world, and then to the vampire.
the most like dire situation. Like there's and like with Mertens, like I didn't think I was gonna care about Mertens, and then he dies on screen, and you're just like, it's definitely something worth the experience. Like to watch the show, to listen to these characters, and to see these stories is incredibly important. I don't necessarily think, especially if I'm being specific and centered on like the queer characters, they feel real. They feel like people, but they're not the main focus of the story in a sense, right? Like it's still Fiona and Cake, and I don't know.
But actually, think about it, it became more of like Simon's show.
Yeah.
It became more for him.
But Simon, unfortunately, is straight as fuck. I'm sorry. He's like all about that.
We haven't actually confirmed if like Fiona's thing, but she did blush at Princess Bubblegum.
Yeah, I think Fiona is
like bi.
Yeah,
bi at least.
Probably. Up next, we have Originality.
For Originality, we give it I give it an 8.
I give it a 6.
Oh, you give it a 6.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's be fair. Multiverse jumping.
Yeah.
Nothing new.
It's
multiverse has become it's become a kind of a trend lately.
Yeah.
But if it's done right, I won't mind. This was also well done because I like what if universes. I love to see, like, not fan, because fan arts, they tend to go weird.
Yeah.
But done by the writers who want to see what their what if is.
Yeah.
I love that.
Basically, it's just I have a little bit of, like I was saying, fatigue with that, and also I'm thinking too, it's a continuation of Adventure Time, so there's a lot of callbacks to things that happened before, which is like necessary, but then again, that doesn't feel.
It gives you the requirement you have to watch all of Adventure Time.
It's because it's hard to say that a spin-off is original or like multiverses are original right now or any of that stuff. It's not bad by any means, but it's only a little bit above average in that sense. Like if I had to recommend a multiverse story to someone, it would more likely be like either Spider-Verse or Everything Everywhere All at Once rather than this. This doesn't feel as poignant in that way, so it's still good. It's still definitely, it's not just worth watching. I would say for anybody who really enjoys animation or really enjoys Adventure Time or even just enjoys like high fantasy, this is definitely for you. Mm-hmm. But it's, I don't know, it didn't like blow anything out of the water, didn't, you know what I mean? And it's hard to do that when you have contenders like Everything Everywhere All at Once and Spider-Verse. It's incredibly difficult to pull that off.
But yeah, I agree with what you said. Like it's multiverse, and I was like, why it's a bit lower for me. I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you seen it. It all depends how right it's done, how like it's done.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not too bad, originality wise. But everything else, I like it pretty well. Finally, overall.
And now, for Originality, we give it a 8.6.
9. It's a great show.
Yeah, no, it's I
love it.
I would give it, you know what I mean? It's good all around.
My only disappointment is that this is it. There's no like a second season or anything for this.
Yeah, I mean it would be hard to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because it essentially solved everything for Simon and Fiona.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't mind just seeing like life on with Fionna and Cake because they have like weird shit now around their place. I've also been disappointed that they didn't get the original voice actor for Prismo. And the guy wanted to do it, but his representatives were assholes.
Yeah, that was unfortunate.
They made the decision for him, and even though he was like, "What? I would have done it
without a heartbeat." I mean, Prismo in the original series was one of my favorite characters because I remember being adamant about this. And please talk to me in the comments about this because I want to know if I'm wrong. But I vividly remember when Finn makes a wish. He makes the wish that the Lich never existed, and Prismo doesn't really grant that wish. And I think. Maybe they talk about it in the show, but I know in Fionna and Cake, he talks about it more, that there's certain things that he can't actually do. And so that for me is like, I remember he doesn't kill the Lich, he doesn't stop the Lich from existing. What he does is he doesn't get as powerful because the bombs don't, the big bomb, nuclear war, whatever thing doesn't happen. So he doesn't have the power, I guess, to become
it's like a butterfly effect.
Something like that. But then Finn almost immediately makes it happen by blowing up something. Like he becomes the Ice King.
The crown.
Yeah, and he kills like a bunch of people, and it's like and then he ends up activating the bomb. Like it's super weird. It's super weird. And so I remember thinking to myself for years, I was like, Prismo didn't grant Finn's wish. He didn't make the Lich not exist. He just made the Lich weaker, and then Finn just made the Lich happen himself. So it was just weird. But all in all, the show itself is really cool. You get so much insight into different characters and character dynamics. And as far as queer representation and comfort go, I feel like this is, I don't want to speak for everyone. I feel like this is exactly the sort of stuff that like I would want my kids or my family or somebody who's just going through a tough time to be able to see and know that like there are so many adventures out there waiting for you. There's so much of your life that you can have if you are willing to embrace a little bit of, absurdism and a little bit of wackiness and just fight for what you believe in and fight alongside your friends and people who care about you. I really feel like the whole Adventure Time franchise, but especially Fionna and Cake, has a very special place in my heart at the very least. So go watch it. It's a blast.
On to our review total.
So for our QPR total, Fionna and Cake gets an 87, which is a gay minus.
That's good. Oh,
good
nice.
shit.
Very good, very good. Great show. Highly recommend you watch it. If you watched all Adventure Time and didn't know this came out, go watch it. If you don't know watch Adventure Time and then watch this. Or watch whatever you want. It's your life.
Yeah, it's freestyle.
Be chaos about it. Be chaotic about it. Make Adventure Time a prequel to Fionna and Cake. Who cares?
We have links in our bottom, in the comment section below to the Trevor Project and other...
And our social media links, so please give us a follow and subscribe for more content like this.
Some recommendations that I have for you guys this episode would be Castlevania Nocturne. It just came out and it was fantastic.
We have indie shows. We have The Evil Little Things. Currently there's an Indiegogo going on, so we'll have a link for that one. Please donate and make the show happen.
What other shows are there? What other films are there?
Perhaps a video game.
No, the other game.
Shut the fuck up.
There was another game you said you wanted to review.
Oh, what was the game?
I don't fucking know. You played it. It was you played the game. Or thought about the game. Was it girls or something? Were there gay girls in it?
We did that already!